Hey guys! So, semi-recently, I was sorting through some boxes that I had in storage, and one of the things I came across was this old sketchbook of mine. According to some of the dates, it's from around 2012, and so I was probably about 14 years old. And this was from a time in my life where I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wasn't very good, and I soon found out that the actual reality of being a fashion designer isn't actually the drawing or designing as much as it is marketing, and I wasn't big into that, so I abandoned that. However, I do still have this sketchbook, and it has quite a bit of collected things. There's a lot of printouts from different websites and a lot of inspiration stuff. So I thought it might be fun to look through it. I haven't actually looked through the entire thing. I only opened it and saw what it was and then decided to make this video. So it's kind of as new to me as it is to you. I probably won't remember half of it. So we'll open it, and this is what I mean. This entire front section is just a lot of printouts. I drew that, as we can see. That anatomy was on point. And I also did a lot of research about what types of things should be in a collection. So there's a lot of websites that gave you a good overview of what should be in your wardrobe and things like that. The funny thing about this is I was really more into the drawing, and I didn't actually get into fashion in my own life until a few years later. I really just liked looking at clothes and not so much actually putting them on myself. I wore a lot of t-shirts and things for a very long time, and I still do, really. Just kind of looking through some of this. Most of this is printouts. I'm not going to go through all of it just because it was things that I liked, and I'm not really sure where all of them are from. So here I was trying to come up with a pattern. It looks like I had done a bunch of measurements and then tried to put together some sort of pattern. Whether it would have worked or not is yet to be determined. And here are some of the actual designs I had done. Now, as you can see, massively long necks, and I think I was doing that on purpose for some reason. I have recently in my art started to lean towards longer necks, but this is some Alice in Wonderland extremely long neck. Here's some more. I really liked the asymmetrical look it appears, and I still do, honestly. My hair is pretty asymmetrical, and I like a lot of details in clothing. So it's interesting to see how even when I was trying to design them, those same ideas sort of showed through. I think that this is a very good example of how practice will help you get better at things, because I like to think that now my anatomy is in a place where it's pretty decent. There we go, those massively long legs, and inhumanly narrow waist. But still, with all of the details, it's very interesting to me. And here we go into the little pocket area. This is all before the actual sketchbook. I've always been a bit of a collector, so I really liked pulling things together. So more notes on things, it seems like. I had come up with some name ideas, and I remember this, actually. I printed out pictures of the Avengers because I wanted to create stuff based on the Avengers. So that's that. That's kind of funny. Now, moving to the next page here, we have more Avengers pictures, more notes, some magazine cutouts, it looks like. I probably was looking at colors and things like that, which is interesting. And more notes. If there's one thing that you will take away from this is I was definitely a note taker, and I still am. It's like I was trying to do another pattern there. And here's where the actual sketchbook pages start. And I had come up with a collection date, colors that I wanted to use, although these colors don't necessarily go that well together. But if I recall correctly, I believe I was looking at trend predictions and things like that. So that's interesting. I wrote down the Prismacolor pencil numbers and came up with a theme. Tailored and classic, but with a touch of bold and edgy. And I did some inspirational photos here. Again with the stripes, which is a thing that I tend to wear a lot of. And here we get into some sketches. I'll look over here. I'll try to turn this so you can see. So I had done the drawing and then I went in with actual research. So I did little figures that I had printed out, and I did fabric swatches as well. Although this isn't fabric, it's just where I ended up going to fabric websites and printing off their samples. What an interesting, simple look, which is very similar to how I dressed then. It's not that fancy, which is kind of funny to me. All of this is fairly simple. I'm actually going to pull out some of these things just to make it a little easier to move. So some kind of ruffly top with some nice cuffed pants. And I think it's funny because I think even some of these bodies were not even drawn by me. They were templates that I had found online. Again, with the very simple looks. I just find it very funny looking back that I wanted to be a fashion designer, but I'm basically just drawing t-shirts and pants. But I was 14 and I didn't really draw a lot before that. So it just sort of happened. This page looks a little more extreme, so we'll look at it in full. Again, with the details, I really went in with the reference. And this is like the epitome of who I am as a person. Is I'm going to draw some stuff, but I'm also going to have all these references and all these notes. So that's very me. That looks like something I never finished. So that's good. Wow, that's intense. Okay, we'll go back to that. We'll look over here. So a nice plaid shirt with a leather jacket on top. Interesting combination. I don't know what this tan skirt is. This is interesting. It's an interesting combination, to say the very least. Sure. We'll go with that. But let's look at what this is. A steampunk prom dress. That is a very long dress, first of all. Very long dress. Waist very high. And I really spent a lot of time on these details, though. I'm impressed by the details just because I can't remember the last time I spent that much time, probably, putting details into clothing. So, if nothing else, this is motivation to go a little deeper into that, I guess. And here's where we get into t-shirt styles, I suppose. Some hand-woven fabric, it looks like I wanted. Oh, this is so funny. I think I see a lot of people look back at their old art and they're very embarrassed of it. I'm not really that embarrassed by this. I find it very funny. And I can see, obviously, that I've gotten much better. But I find it more amusing to see where I came from, or how I thought I was doing something that I wasn't, like coming up with unique fashion designs. But I did a lot of it. I spent a lot of time on this, but the entire sketchbook is not filled. I think we're probably getting close to where the sketchbook ends. I don't know, I have a lot of extra pages in this. I might end up tearing some of them and using them for something else. But down here, you can see I attempted to do a back view of something, specifically because I wanted to show that there are chains on the back, which I would wear that. That vest. I'm pretty sure practically none of this came from reference. I wasn't really drawing from anything. I was kind of going from imagination, which was probably part of the problem. It's a little cheesy, a little much. This not so bad, style-wise. It might be fun to kind of go back into some of these drawings and try drawing them again. I would hope I would be able to do a much better job of it now. And here's where we get into more mood board stuff, because I really liked that. As I mentioned, I've always been a little bit of a collector, so if I could collect a bunch of pictures and then put them together into a mood board of things that I liked, I was gonna do that. So there's those. Move this. And it looks like I was trying to do a different line here. As we can see, it says spring, summer of 2013. Here's our color range. Oh. More so than any of the drawings, the title of the collection, Feminine Fantasy, really is a lot. That's a lot. Moving on. So our first thing is a very simple looking dress with some button/fabric patches on the top. Interesting. Very structured and pleated. I like how I say it's pleated and I didn't draw a single pleat. I'm a big fan of that. Here I say it's a base piece for building on with other accessories. At least I didn't think this was an entire look. Light pink shrug. Lighter than shown. Good job, Jordan. That is a very bubblegum pink. At least you're trying to say you don't have the right colored pencil to do what you want. And going to here, I basically just drew a thing. There's one of the cases in which I did draw from reference, and I didn't do a very careful or thorough job of it. I'm a big fan of that. I also like how I wanted it to be a soft pastel pink, and same with this other one that's basically a bubblegum pink, but I didn't have the color, so I went with the extreme pink and I went with the tan. So again, if nothing else, this is motivation to just draw, even if you don't really have what you want to do it with. Make a note, be like, well, this wasn't supposed to be like this, but I guess it's what we got now. Here's another example of where it looks like I basically just drew a thing. Gotta start somewhere, I guess, even though, wow, them hips are very narrow. That's a lot. Okay, so this is very simple, it looks like. Didn't even try. It looks like I didn't even try. That's good. I feel like I was trying more towards the beginning. I maybe was getting bored of it. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This is a lot. Olive shorts with cuffs. I also remember I was trying to do some shorts that were a little bit longer because when I was a kid, I didn't like wearing shorter shorts. I really only liked shorts that went down to my knees, and they were pretty near impossible to find. And so I knew that when I was doing this, I really wanted longer shorts because the fact that I couldn't find any anywhere was driving me crazy. So that's why a lot of the times on these drawings, the shorts are pretty long. It's just because it was a personal preference. Here we have something a little more detailed. I tried to do a back, it looks like, and did not try very hard again. A little more detail here. Interesting. And I can really feel that we're starting to get near the end of it because I can feel myself starting to not care. This was drawn on a different piece of paper, it feels like, and I glued it in. I really went to town on the details there. I cut out in between the arms. I don't think I would do that now if I was trying to tape something in. I think I would just roughly outline it and then tape it in. I actually don't hate this. It's supposed to be a leather jacket with, I think, sequins underneath and then a ruffled skirt. It's kind of not that bad. I would draw that now, I think. And here's one where I wanted to do some little sequins and have them fade away. It's funny because as my, I think, attention started to waver, I was getting better at coming up with unique things. Down here, a little tiny thing that again was drawn on a different piece of paper, it looks like. I think this might have been where I was starting to do Avenger stuff, so here's this little tiny sketch. Again, on a separate piece of paper. I don't know why I was putting such small drawings as the only thing on a page. I'm not sure why I was doing that. I think I was probably leaving room to expand on it more like I did on some of the other pages, and then I abandoned it, is probably what happened. And this, I think, is where I started doing the Avengers thing. I think this was supposed to be Captain America, which is why there are star shapes on the shoulders. Which I still actually wouldn't hate doing something like that based on the Avengers, because I do like superheroes and I like the Avengers, and I think I could probably do a better job of it now than I did then. And this looks like a crap ton of designs that were just supposed to be Captain America, trying to figure out what I wanted. This is probably the closest thing I have to thumbnails, which is interesting, because I didn't do a lot of that in the sketchbook, but here it looks like I tried out a lot of different things, which could have been helpful if they were more different than they are. A rough little dress thing that I never finished, and that's probably the end of it. We can try to flip through a little. Oh, I just skipped a few pages. What? Okay, sure. Oh, no, this is Captain America. Why the heck was I drawing stars on everything? Okay, alright, here we go. This is Captain America. This makes more sense, but is a little more extreme. So, we have Captain America's shield on the back, and some stars on the skirt. More Captain America designs. I tried to take it a little away from so literal, which I like, but this is a lot and way too much. Oh, that's cute, kinda, if it was good. I like the neck. I was trying to do a neck thing. Wasn't really doing it, but, you know. And now maybe this is where I gave up? Or maybe there's more. Just ignore me. What? There's a whole other collection? Okay. That is a lot. Oh, these are better. What? Wait. Wow, there's only 2 pages. Okay, sure. Here we go. So here's where I really tried to buckle down on the structured and detail thing, and I really tried to do more backs, it looks like. So here I did a back. This is a little dress that I guess had a little heart cut out on it. Asymmetrical top. That is a lot. These pants are a lot. Can you imagine flare pants, but with the bottom half really emphasized? Because they're a completely different color. Perfect. Interesting. Why did I put so much work into exclusively this? This must have been all the ideas I had, and then I ran out of ideas, so I did really rough, not so good ones, and then I gave up. That must have been what happened. That's funny. Okay, I think if I didn't troll myself again, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of empty pages still. So, like I said, I might end up tearing that and maybe making a sketchbook out of them or something. Just so that paper doesn't all go to waste. Since I found this years later and the paper still works. So that was an adventure I wasn't quite sure what to expect from, but I didn't really hate. I expected it to be lacking in things like actual drawing or anatomy skills. I expected there to be a little bit of attention to detail, and I expected there to be a lot of notes. So the things that I expected to happen did live up I do wish that I would have pushed myself more because I could tell that I wasn't really trying half the time. And it's one of those things where the earlier you start and the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So if you're young, or even if you're not, even if you're older, practice and push yourself. Don't let yourself get lazy with it, because if you're really enjoying it, having a little bit of a difficult time every now and again isn't the worst thing in the world, and it can really benefit you in the long run. I feel like if I would have pushed myself more in sketchbooks like this one, I would be a lot better as an artist now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't the best artwork in the world, but I would like to believe that there's a little bit of a point behind it, a little bit of a motivational push. So thank you all for watching. You can subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.